Hello, money queens and listeners. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. Let's meet the women behind the millionaires, the women supporting, guiding, celebrating women with their wealth. You will hear from women millionaires, how they got there, what they wish they had known, what got them to be a millionaire, the emotional side, the spiritual side, the practical side of wealth. You'll also get to meet the women behind the scenes helping make it happen. Let's dive into Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host, best-selling author of 3 books, wealth advisor, and founder of the Women's Wealth Boutique. Let's start meeting the women. Hello, money queens. Hello, our viewers, our listeners. Welcome to tonight's episode of Women Behind the Millions, Season 3. Season 3, I cannot believe it. Thank you so much for supporting, viewing, sharing, talking about our TV show, podcast. Thank you for your support. It's been such a fun journey with you all. And this season, we are shaking things up. We're going to do something a little differently this season. I'm welcoming a co-host with me that you're going to see all season long. We're going to bring her on stage here in a little bit to talk about what to expect this season on Women Behind the Millions. And we're also doing a very specific focus, something that's very important, that's near and dear to my own heart, the D word. Divorce. This entire season on Women Behind the Millions, we are going to be talking about divorce. And it's accompanying a huge project here at Pink Fix Productions, one of our newest anthology books that is in the works. Yes, the authors are writing it right now. The chapters are due in a few weeks here. We just went through our training, meeting with our team at Pink Fix Productions, our creative director, Alyssa Goldman, our editor, Hilliard Jostram. They have been very busy putting this book together. And divorce has always been on my mind, not seeing parts of the divorce from my grandmother. She was divorced twice. The first divorce was when my mother was only 4 years old. And you'll hear me talking about her experience throughout this season here and there. But being put on the stand at 4 years old and being asked by a judge, a little intimidating, huh, ladies? In front of both her father and her mother, which parent do you want to live with? It's very, very stressful for 4-year-olds. I can't even imagine. My son is 4 right now. The thought process behind that. They're so innocent. They're so naive and not wanting to disappoint anybody. And then she got married and she had a long marriage, 35 years, to somebody who had 2 mistresses, who was supporting one mistress through college, putting another one in an apartment, Mercedes cars, $4,000 handbags, trips all over the world. And she had no clue. And my grandmother, very successful businesswoman, she had 2 of her own TV shows back in the 60s and 70s. Claire and Coco was a children's TV show. And then Woman Talk was a women's talk show. She had even had Sonny and Cher on her show. She was a pretty big deal. And what I learned was no matter how much success you are, no matter how educated you are, she went to Cornell at the age of 16. She was a very, very bright woman. Things happen in relationships. And this is a perfect tee up for the theme of tonight's episode. I saw this quote and I have been sending it to everybody because it really rang true to me and to the work we do here at the Wealth Boutique, whether it's in divorce or not in divorce. But listen to this, ladies. Some people are investments and some people are bills. I'm going to repeat that because it's going to take a little bit for you to sink and be like, how? And you're going to start to think about which people are the bills, which people are the investments. Some people are investments. Some people are bills. Some people you are going to invest into that relationship, time, money, your love. You're going to foster that relationship or foster that child, that partner. Maybe it's a team member, an employee, because you see the growth, you see the potential. They want it too. It's usually a two-way relationship. It's mutually beneficial. Everybody is going to win out. There's a lot of heart in there. And then there are people that are bills. And these are the people that will suck your soul. They will force you to remove boundaries that you put in place for a reason. They're the people that you look back and think there were a lot of red flags, and yet I didn't pay attention to them, or I gave them too much leeway. I ignored them. I settled. And I think that's a perfect segue into tonight's episode, and especially the whole season 3 of Women Behind the Millions. And so going back to my grandmother's divorce, yes, her second husband was a bill and a very, very expensive bill, an expensive lesson to learn. He was a very savvy lawyer in the DC area, and they were a long term relationship, and he lived in DC, she lived in the Outer Banks and then to Florida. So a long distance relationship as well. And he put her 3 houses in his name. He took out mortgages on her houses. So this was a very costly lesson and bill for her. And tonight's guest and our co-host for the entire season 3 of Women Behind the Millions, Donna Cates. She is our divorce source here at the Wealth Boutique. She has been focusing and specializing on women and divorce for over 20 years. And she can see very clearly who's an expense, who's an investment, and how to, even if that relationship is a bill and not an investment, how to protect your assets, how to not divorce the person, but not the money, as she usually says very often as well. So with that, I'm going to bring Donna Cates on stage with us right now. Donna Cates, Alabama. Money Matters Wealth Solutions here at the Wealth Boutique. Donna Cates, thank you so much for being on tonight's episode and the entire season 3 of Women Behind the Millions.
I'm honored to be here and so excited about our book and happy to talk about it.
What is the title of the book? I can't remember if I said it yet. What's the title, Donna?
Divorce Decoded. Oh my goodness. A manifesto for women navigating divorce and beyond.
Where did the title Divorce Decoded come from? Because it's a very catchy, strong title.
Well, I think, when we were kind of brainstorming on what would make an effective title, we thought, women, they just don't know what they need to know about divorce until they're in the middle of it. So in thinking about writing the book, we wanted to put the book out there, not as just another how to, this is the divorce process and what it looks like in your particular state, but more a how to deal with all of the pieces of divorce. There are many, many aspects of divorce, from the emotional, the financial, the taking care of the kids, what's your life going to look like after. So decoding divorce just resonated with me.
Yes, breaking it down into bite-sized chunks for the women, and something that, in my mind, that they can go back to when they hit that point of the divorce process too. It's like, oh, I remember there was a professional there for me who can help me with this matter, and not feel so overwhelming having to take it all in at once.
And that's really important, I think, because it is a process. Sometimes, if we're the ones deciding to divorce, we've been thinking about this for some time. So we're going to be in a different preparation state. We're going to be in a different emotional state before the person that's being told, hey, I want a divorce, they're in a totally different place. So it is a process that we have to work through over time. And we need help from different folks and different professionals along the way.
Yes. And what got you, Donna, into the divorce work? You've been on our show before. This is actually your 3rd time. You were on season 1, season 2 as a financial trendsetter. There's people new to the show. Donna, what got you into the divorce work?
Well, I've been working as a financial advisor, had been at that point for 4 years. And I did a lot of educational programs for women and men. But what I found is that the women were typically the ones that were approaching me for financial help. And because I was working with so many more women, I became known as the go-to person for women in transition. Divorce attorneys were referring folks to me post-divorce, and I was happy to take these women on as clients. But what I was discovering is that a lot of women may have left a lot of assets or things that they were probably entitled to that they did not negotiate for in the divorce. So I thought there's a gap here. Attorneys are fabulous at what they do. They know the law inside and out, but they're not necessarily the most savvy when it comes to the financial implications. They're interested in dividing the assets as they are that day, but they're not forward looking at what is this decision that we're making today, this financial decision, what's going to be the long-term impact. So that really intrigued me, and I saw that there was a huge need for it. And that's when I got my certified divorce financial analyst designation.
So how does that separate you or distinguish you from all the other financial advisors, wealth advisors, financial planners, having that extra designation, that extra piece of training and expertise?
It is really significant. I've had many women say, well, my financial advisor is a planner. But the reality is they don't navigate in the divorce world on a regular basis. So I'm going to give you a quick example. I had a client who was divorcing, and she actually had 401ks, and they had IRA accounts that she and her husband were going to be dividing. And her financial advisor was saying, okay, well, we can just divide everything equitably and it doesn't matter. It's not going to cost you anything. What he didn't know was that there are special tax rules in place that will allow you to take money from a 401k prior to divorce if it's done correctly through a legal document. So when he initiated that process, he actually said, let's just go ahead and roll all of the 401k money over into an IRA for your benefit. And she lost that opportunity to pull any money out without the typical 10% penalty because he didn't know about divorce rules.
Big difference. Sure. And each state has a little bit of different rules too. I know you mentioned in Alabama, you can't have life insurance to cover alimony payments.
Correct.
New Jersey, you can, and that's always going to be changing too. So having somebody like Donna who's on top of the changing state laws is huge. How about, Donna, how about the case where they're a married couple and they have a joint advisor? Now they're going through the divorce process. What are they able to continue to use that financial planner in regards to the divorce process and journey?
They could if they were really mature adults. And that's the qualifier, because think about it, when you're in the middle of a divorce, the emotions are running high. So we're not always being our best selves. The reality is a financial advisor, just like with an attorney or a counselor, we're typically representing one person or the unit. So if you were divorcing, that financial advisor, if they're a CDFA, can help you navigate making smart decisions about how to divide it. But whether or not it would make sense for both of the couple to stay with that financial advisor is something that you really need to scrutinize. Because if I'm your financial advisor and you as the husband decide to continue working with me and I'm still working with your wife, it's going to be very, very challenging for me to keep all of that information separate. Now, ethically, that's my job, but I'm also a human like all of us are. So I think it typically behooves one of the party to work with a separate financial advisor.
And I view you as that financial advocate as well. And if you're working with somebody who knows, as you said so beautifully, the unit, having somebody who knows you separate from that unit can be huge. So I encourage you, if you and your spouse, soon to be ex, or maybe you're separated, have a joint advisor, have somebody separate who's going to be your advocate. Look out for you. Or how many times too, Donna, is that relationship with the advisor is more on the husband's side. They have the relationship with the advisor. No, it's for the unit. The wife doesn't know much about the advisor, doesn't really have a strong relationship with them.
This is so significant because even in this age, with women being the major breadwinner a lot of the time, running companies and all of the things that we do, we're still treated kind of second class when it comes to advice from a financial advisor. And it hurts my heart, and it's why I do what I do. But again, back to what you said about being an advocate to that person. So often, because we women take a back seat to the money stuff in marriage, not because we don't have the ability to deal with it, but because we just have full plates. And we say, okay, you like doing the number stuff, the money stuff, you take on that, I'll do this other stuff over here. But what we find is that we end up being in a less powerful position, having less knowledge about the moving pieces of our financial well-being. So it's not just that your typical financial advisor may focus on the male versus the female in the relationship, but that sometimes we have put ourselves in that box where we're just not as financially savvy as our spouse.
Oh, very true. And it is thinking of divorce. It is a power dynamic.
Yes.
It's a pendulum going back and forth for it as well. So if you feel that you don't have that advocate yet, that's why we have Donna Cates here as well with it. And you can learn about Donna in Financial Trendsetters as one of our financial trendsetters, our first anthology book. And now we have the spinoff Divorce Decoded that's going to focus just on women going through divorce. So talking about the book, what are you hoping the readers get out of this book? What's their takeaways, Donna?
The first takeaway is that you're not in it alone. We want you, and through the anthology, we're going to be telling stories about women that we have personally worked with, and even our own personal stories of divorce. But we want you to walk away from having read the book being more knowledgeable about the process, but more understanding that we hear you, we've been there, we see you, we support you, and there are many things that you may encounter that you need through the process, but there's always a sunnier side. So you're going to get through the other side. You're going to get through the divorce process. We're going to help you make smarter financial choices. We're going to help you take better care of yourself and your family, even your adult children from an emotional standpoint. We're going to help you navigate the divorce court, and post-divorce, we're going to help you pull up your big girl britches and recreate that life for you that's going to empower you to live in abundance and create that new sense of self-confidence in yourself and your new family.
Ooh, you said some big words: abundance, confidence, pulling up your big girl. Panties, we'll say, for it too. When you look at going through the divorce and coming out the other side, I find it amazing how many of our authors and also guests for our show here have gone through divorce themselves. And I see a big theme around this. And now they're turning their pain into purpose, and they want to give back in the world of divorce and helping more women. So I'm blown away by the generosity and the heart of these women who went through something very tough. They're navigating how to heal themselves through that trauma and finding ways to now becoming that resource for other women as well. What are your thoughts on that, Donna?
I literally have goosebumps right this minute. The reality is, when we see people, we only know what they're showing us. But most of us have a story and life experiences that the world's just not privy to. And in this book, with these authors that we've hand selected to participate, we have women who have been through physical abuse, women whose spouses have served jail time because of that. We have women who felt sexually abused. I shouldn't say felt, they were. Mm-hmm. We've all had the experiences, but the thing is that these women that are coming to you are doing this from a heartfelt position because they don't want other women to go through life feeling like they are stuck, that they have no other options. The reality is that we do all have choices, and that we're here to help you make it through that. And I'm so grateful for all of the co-writers.
Yes. And some had even gone through and battled cancer, or now cancer survivors as well. I mean, it goes on and on, the trauma, the struggles that they went through. And when we were meeting together as a group, which we did multiple times gearing up for the project, hearing their stories and then them trying to find a way to express their story in a respectful way. Because again, if you have children and you're going through a divorce, you're still tied to your ex-spouse for a lifetime. Really, you're going to see them at, right, the weddings, the graduations, the big milestones, and being respectful enough while also being an advocate for their own story and learning how important that their story is. Their story matters here. And these women are just so courageous, and being able to be vulnerable like that, and yourself included, Donna, sharing those pieces of themselves that they probably don't talk about. And you're right, on the surface, successful, professional, doing really well, being an advocate for these women, but they've gone through it. They have gone through it. What are you most excited for with this season of Women Behind the Millions, Donna?
I love the fact that we are showcasing these women who have walked through the trenches and experienced what they've experienced, and have come out on the other side being bigger and better people, and being willing to share that information with the world at large. And I want all of the women that read it, even if they aren't particularly being affected by divorce, to know that they have the knowledge and they can share this book with other women, because we all know someone who's either thinking about or in the middle of divorce. So there's not any of us that doesn't know somebody that has divorce or is thinking about divorce. There's just a wealth of information that we'll be sharing. And I'm really proud of the participants for stepping up to the plate and helping to spread the word.
Yes, they stepped up in a huge way. How many people use excuses? I don't have the time for this, the money, the capacity, X, Y, Z. But these ladies put that all aside to make divorce better, a better experience, better financially as well through it. One of our episodes we recorded recently, we talked about how people think, well, the more people I hire for my divorce, the more money it's going to cost. Do you want to debunk that myth right here, Donna?
Absolutely. So yes, when you hire a professional, you're paying for their expertise, and you're paying them specifically because they're going to help you come out with a better outcome. And I'll share a quick example with you. This is a couple that I worked with recently. They actually had 401ks. Both of them had recently left jobs prior to deciding to divorce. So they still had 401ks with their companies that they had not rolled over into IRAs yet. And like the example that I was talking about earlier, this couple was going to have to divide all of the retirement assets. In this case, the female was going to be receiving monies from her soon-to-be ex-spouse. Well, the fee that they paid to me doing their financial planning analysis was 100% recouped just by the savings that we made by having them take those old 401ks that were still with former employers, rolling them into an IRA account so that they no longer had to pay the $1,500 plus fee to have a qualified domestic relations order put in place. And had they just gone to an attorney with those two accounts that had to be divided, there would have been two qualified domestic relations order that had to be written, paid for, processed through the court systems, and then they would have been waiting months to get those assets. So the fact that I was able to help them make smart, informed decisions about other aspects of their marriage or their divorce was just icing on the cake. The fee was recovered just from me helping them with that one smart financial move.
Ooh, what a great example of that. And thinking about it, the time as well is a huge component of it. Because how many times do women come to, oh, I want this done by the end of the year, but quadros. I've gotten people coming to me years later, a decade later. I still have this quadro outstanding. Like, that's terrifying to me.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what happens if he blows the money? It's gone for it too. So the time and the money is huge. Who's the first point of contact on it that you would say a woman who's watching the show has been thinking about divorce? It's overwhelming where to start, and going to the attorney might seem a little intimidating, a little scary. Who should they talk to first?
That's a great question, and one that I will tell you, it does depend. A lot of women come to me having already met with an attorney, but I will tell you where the most impactful is when someone's just thinking about it, because what we can do from a financial position is to help you get more financially savvy, get your arms around more of the financial information so that when you walk in to meet with that divorce attorney, you're more informed about your situation. And I will tell you, you've just saved yourself a lot of money because now the divorce attorney isn't going to have to go looking for the information that you're providing. But it really does depend on your circumstances. A lot of women need the emotional support of a counselor or divorce coach. But the thing that I have always committed to as being the financial strategist is if you come to me first, I am going to ensure that we get you connected with the most appropriate professionals that you need help. And sometimes that might be we're taking a baby step today by meeting with a divorce coach. Tomorrow, we're going to start the divorce financial planning. The next step might be engaging with that attorney. But I'm here as your strategist to help you get in contact with those professionals as the need arises. And it's the most appropriate and most effective for you.
Ooh, there you go. Very good. I know we recently interviewed for the show our divorce coach, so we'll kind of go into the lineup for this season on Women Behind the Millions as well. But as Lisa Lisser mentions, reaching out to a professional besides the attorney first, you might not end up getting divorced. There might be some things that you can work through as well, but taking the time, and I think somebody said patience was one of their big tips, like patience, setting it up properly, because once you sign that settlement, it is very, very difficult post-settlement to make any changes to it. So take the time to get educated and learn your resources, which is why we've dedicated an entire book, Divorce Decoded, in this season as well. Let's talk about some of these ladies that are going to be on the show. We're starting off very hot with this season, and we have our mediator, our litigator, and a divorce coach, probably the first few people that you will want to reach out to going through the divorce. You always need to have, we can't give legal advice, right, Donna? We are not attorneys. We do know you need to have somebody like an attorney who can give you legal advice, looking through and protecting you. So we have Ann Edens, one of our litigators as well, and we have Carrie Jacobson, the Jacobson Family Law, who is a mediator who will only do really mediation. She does not want to litigate. She does not want you to go to the courts. She wants to see what we can get done ahead of time. And then we have Lisa Lisser, our divorce coach, who again, she talked about how she's a space in between the meetings.
Yes, the pause.
The pause in between the meetings. She was beautiful. Great episode with Lisa. I can't wait for her. And then Donna, how about our realtors? We have a very specific niche realtor with Karen Porter.
Yes. And Karen is, she is certified, and a lot of people don't realize this. We have special training for realtors and mortgage brokers where they understand all of the complexity as divorce. So Karen is actually has that designation as the certified divorce realtor. So she would be perfect for anybody that's going to need to sell their house post-divorce.
Yes, and she only does the sale of the house, which I really like. She's not, because as she mentioned, a lot of realtors, they love a divorce because it's the sale of the house plus buying 2 more houses. She only does the sale of the house. And then we have Drew Rimmershoff, who's going to help you find that sanctuary post-divorce. Right? That place where it's yours. You get to paint it whatever color you want to paint it, whatever kind of style you want it to be. It's your place as well. We have Darlene Schaefer, who is our certified our CPA. She's also certified as in collaborative divorce and business valuation. So if you or your husband or together you own a business, you need to listen to her episode and read her chapter as well. Let's go through the list. Who else? We have Jennifer Perry, your good friend, and she is the founder of what's her legacy, really.
Literally, Shiro Coaching. And Jennifer is very powerful. She does comprehensive divorce coaching, whether you're thinking about divorce in the middle of it or just past divorce. She walks you through the entire process and then literally helps you rebuild and find the true you and give more value to the process.
And she is a huge energy. She's just such amazing energy that she brings to it. Love having Jennifer be a part of this as well. We have Dr. Deborah Wilder, who is our therapist, our counselor.
And she's going to be talking about not just, the emotional issues of divorce for yourself, but for your children and co-parenting. There's the divorce just brings in a whole nother emotional component to all of our relationships. So she's going to help us navigate those.
I'm so glad we have somebody who's focusing on the children, because as we were going through when we were meeting collectively, how many women said the biggest fear is, what damage am I doing to my children? What's happening to them? So having that perspective and that tool, that resource for the kids is amazing. Then we have you, Donna Cates, we have Sarah Elia, and we have Camilletta from the Wealth Boutique supporting on the money side and the estate side.
Correct.
Huge pieces. We're going to go into, after our break here in a little bit, Donna's the money tip for divorce, the money trend she's noticing as well. Donna's a huge, huge resource. And then I love coming on the other side. We talked about earlier, the abundance, the confidence as well. We have Katie Cable, who is a stylist, and talking about how clothes are very triggering. They also have a lot of memories tied to them. So going through your wardrobe, let's say moving into that new house, that new sanctuary, and you're going through your wardrobe, where was your spouse controlling of what you can and can't wear? Or maybe put you down, or you're very insecure dressing a certain way. Helping go through those emotions and finding how to love your body in your clothes, maybe reinventing yourself or finding out who you truly are separate from your spouse. And then Marianne Hogarth, who is an amazing photographer, she has these goddess pictures. And it really is about finding that inner confidence and how she sees you and how she pulls it out of you for these pictures. And she does a lot of work with women going through divorce, who is just amazing. What a lineup we have, Donna.
We certainly do. From everything from prenups to even the experience of someone who grew up in a divorced household. We're covering it all.
We are, yes. The parents, the grandparents, witnessing as children, and then your children, all around, and through the whole journey of divorce. From the first time you said the D word to now you've signed the settlement document, you're finding your new house, you are now dressing how you want to dress, right? And finding that inner confidence as well. Well, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to talk about estate planning. We mentioned it earlier here. How important, Donna, is it for women to update their estate documents during and post-divorce?
It is so essential. And I will tell you that, unfortunately, so many women, by the time they get through with the divorce process, they're just done. They don't want to do anything else. But it's on our follow-through checklist, because what we find is that if we don't take action to update the will, the powers of attorney, the medical directives, and all of the beneficiaries on our accounts, it could be that our ex-spouse is the one that's making a decision for whether or not to pull the plug, or they might be inheriting our money should something happen to us, an early demise. So estate planning, prenups, postnups for the next go around is essential.
Huge. So important. So let's get a word from Camilletta, the head of our estate planning division here at the Wealth Boutique.
Hi everyone, my name is Camilletta and I am the Director of Operations here at the Women's Wealth Boutique. I'm so excited to announce that our firm will be rolling out a new service for estate planning. I know you're probably asking, why an estate plan? An estate plan allows your voice to be heard after you passed away. An estate plan provides you with control as far as how your assets are divided and distributed. It helps your family avoid probate and reduce the risk of disputes between family members. An estate plan secures your children's future, as well as address any special circumstances that a court or judge knows nothing about. So go to our website at www.womenswealthboutique.com, select your favorite advisor, and schedule estate planning today.
All right, Donna, we talked about estate planning, money. Let's go into what is my favorite part of the show, divorce tip. And I'm guessing it's going to have to do with money.
Well, and I will tell you, we've actually already addressed it. And it's the fact that we don't want to do this divorce thing alone. And like I mentioned earlier, we are so fearful often of having to spend money, especially when we have no clue how much this divorce is going to cost us. But making sure that you have that appropriate financial planning professional on your team, your counselors, your divorce coaches, all of the people that can help you make smarter decisions, it's going to be a big money saver. And that's what I want, is for everybody to do the divorce because it's good for you, but to do it in a cost-effective manner.
Yes. Oh, that's perfect. And let's talk about what documents would be really good for a woman. She wants to engage with you. What can she start doing to prepare for that meeting?
I will tell you, anything that has to do with money, from all of the different types of accounts that you have, your insurance policies, anything that you are paying for or have spent money on, list of your assets, all of your debts. But here's the biggest one that's going to give you a leg up. If you can start clearly defining what your living expenses are now, that's going to be an essential thing for deciding whether or not you're going to be entitled to any alimony. That's just one component of it. But that's the thing that most people struggle with, is doing I don't call it a budget, it's expenses, because we're not setting parameters around what we should be spending. We're defining what we really are spending.
Oh, that's one that I feel is often overlooked, the expenses. What does your lifestyle cost? How is it going to change during post-divorce as well? And your kids, depending on how old they are, people forget that your kids hopefully aren't going to be on your payroll forever. Eventually they will leave. How does that shift things? I'm trying to think of the other things that are often overlooked too. Social Security.
Yes.
Now going on SSA.gov, go online and see what you're entitled to, what your spouse is entitled to. And depending on the situation, you're entitled to at least half of your spouse's or your full amount, whichever is larger. Tax returns.
Yes.
How many times, Donna, do you get a client and she signed the tax returns but doesn't know what's really on them? Or we just recently had a case where she didn't sign them at all and didn't realize that he was filing separately, and she hadn't been filing at all before it too. Something that is often overlooked.
Tax returns are interesting because an attorney, depending on the nature of your income, whether you're a business owner or not, they may ask for as little as 2 years of tax returns. But if you're a business owner or have a cash business, they may ask for 5 years of tax returns. And I know where my tax returns are because I'm the keeper of the money stuff, but a lot of women aren't. So one important thing for them to know is that if you don't have access to your tax returns, and before you call your CPA to say, hey, can you send me a copy? Because they're going to turn around and let your spouse know that you called and asked for that. You can easily ask for a transcript directly from the IRS. And those transcripts will give us everything that we need to know.
Very good tip, Donna. Very good. Oh, I like that. Love to keep that. How about, Donna, switching gears here from your tip, the biggest thing, getting aware of the finances, where everything is, how it's titled, put a map together, tax returns, Social Security, all that good stuff too. Debt. another often overlooked thing too. What kind of debt do you have together, separately, all of that good stuff too. What is a trend that you're noticing when it comes to divorce? I'm curious if this is also going to relate to money as well.
I will tell you that the biggest trend that I'm seeing now is that more people are aware that they do need to have a divorce financial expert on their divorce team. And the reason I think this is coming to fruition is more because of another trend, and that's the gray divorce. We're actually seeing a decline in the number of divorces in general, but the number of divorces for the age of 50 and above has gone up exponentially. And these people, because they've lived longer, typically have much more complex financial situations, and they are understanding that they really don't understand the best way to divide these assets, and they need the help of a professional. So that's a good trend, because people are just more aware of the team members that can help them.
Yeah. So when you think about gray divorce, obviously people in their, what would you say, 50s, 60s, 70s?
Correct.
Area of their life. That's also when they probably have the most amount of money, of assets that they've saved up in their retirement. So going back to the overall theme for tonight's episode with people are investments and people are bills, working with Donna is an investment.
Correct.
To protect your money, to protect your retirement, your future. And it's not just how is the divorce going to impact you today, but how is it going to impact you 20, 30 years from now? And Donna has the tools to be able to show you what that looks like, depending on different settlement options or mediation options that you go through as well. And I say that would be my tip is before you sign anything with a settlement, meet with somebody like Donna, meet with Donna to see how is this affecting me 30 years into my future if I sign this paper and agree to this. How is it affecting you, your children's lives as well before you sign anything? Test it, project it out. And to be able to visualize it is so huge. Women, we tend to be visual learners. Really, really important. Really important stuff, Donna. We're going to do a quick break to talk about Financial Trendsetters, our first anthology book, which is what spurred our new Divorce Decoded one as well. We'll see in a little bit. All right, we are back with Donna Cates. Let's see her. There she is. Oh, I love her haircut. I love this fierce pixie cut. Donna Cates, it has been such a pleasure having you on tonight with Women Behind the Millions. And all season long, you get to see myself and Donna interviewing our list of amazing, fearless authors of Divorce Decoded. What I'm excited for this season is the resources, the preparation that we are giving the readers and the viewers with each week of the show, each chapter of the book as well. It's going to feel kind of like a workbook, not an overwhelming one, but with each chapter, there's going to be a call to action, an exercise that's going to get you moving forward in the divorce process and moving forward to building your life. And whenever I ask a woman, whether going through a divorce or not, what do you want to see for your life? It's very hard. It throws them off. They haven't really spent the time to look and see what is it that I want outside of being a wife or a mother or an employee or a boss. But for me personally, and my hope is that we give all of the readers and viewers that space to get the stuff done for today, but also starting to visualize and get creative and have some fun with looking, what could that future look like? What if? And in such a positive way. And then to give them tools each week also to help manage the stress, the emotions, to help them feel very grounded. And I love, Donna, for us to end with this exercise. Again, people are bills or people are investments. When you go through a divorce, everybody's going to have their say on it. They're going to be very willing to share their thoughts, their views on the divorce. And you need to create a tribe that's very close knit to you, that you share only very personal things with. And it might not be your family members. It might not be the people you thought would have your back as well. So thinking of who's in that inner tribe, who are those advocates who have your back that you can share, be very vulnerable, who aren't going to judge you, but support you. And then you're going to have the next circle. Maybe that next circle are the professionals like Donna, like Lisa, the divorce coach, your attorney, and great Dr. Deborah, the therapist, right? Who's that next circle? And these are your investments, because while they might feel like they're costing you money now, they're building you money for the future as well. And then your family, they might be on some outer rings, or your close friends might be on some outer rings, and friendships change a lot. Those dynamics shift a ton as well. So keep those people close to you. Don't let a lot of people super in there, because you need to protect yourself and your well-being. And people are you're at your most vulnerable. So people are going to try to influence you and manipulate you. And you don't need that. You need to protect yourself during this time. What are your thoughts on this, Donna, or tips?
I agree with you 100%. And the reality is that everybody, they want what's best for us, but everybody's got their own opinion. And the thing to remember is that they aren't walking in your shoes. So although they may have personal experience, their experience may be vastly different from yours, and your neighbors, or, the women that you go to church with. The reality is you have to use the professionals and the advice from other people, but just take it as, okay, that's interesting. I hear you. Thank you for sharing, and not make that the rule of the day, because everybody's situation is unique, and we want to work to customize what's best for your situation.
Ooh, very nicely said. Take it in. It's kind of almost like a third party observer, observing it, and then see, is this for my best interest or not? And pause. Going back to Lisa and pausing. All right, Donna, we have one more question for you as we end the show.
What makes you a woman behind the millions?
She is so adorable. That's a great question, and I'm happy to answer that. I think what separates me out from most other financial professionals is my ability to guide women through making those complex financial decisions that enables them to navigate any transition with confidence and clarity. And by doing that, they come out on the other side able to have that same confidence and clarity to build a new life for themselves. So I think me doing the hand holding and the walking through and helping you make those complex decisions is what makes me a woman behind the millions.
Oh, she is, ladies. She is a woman behind the scenes, making it happen, growing, protecting women's wealth in divorce, through divorce, post-divorce, and out the other side as well. Thank you, Donna, for being here with us tonight and all season long. You're going to see plenty of her in our upcoming episodes, and we will see you next week on another Women Behind the Millions. Hey, money queens, looking to get your wealth to that next level, 7, 8, 9 figures? Follow us on Instagram at PinkFixMyMoney and at Women's Wealth Boutique for more millionaire money tips.